Good evening. It's my pleasure to appear in front of you for the State of the Nation of the Cherokee Nation this August of 2006. Welcome, everybody. We have a very special guest tonight we'd like to recognize, and that's Jerry Douglas, the chief of the Delaware Tribe of Indians. And if Jerry, if you'll stand and let us acknowledge you. At this time, we recognize family and friends and others who have passed from this life or have lost loved ones. And Shirley Baird of Stillwell, the daughter of Fay Beard, was lost this last month. And I'm sure there's others. So if you will, at this time, let's have a moment of silence for her and those families. Tonight we will honor 3 men for their military service. The first is Thomas Mitchell Pumpkin Sr. He's dedicated 18 years of military service to the United States Air Force. He was a technical sergeant. He was a veteran of many military initiatives, including Desert Storm, Enduring Freedom, Global War on Terrorism, and Iraqi Freedom. Sergeant Pumpkin is also supported by other military contingencies overseas. His first duty station was in Portugal. Later he was stationed in Robbins Air Force Base in Georgia, and ended his service at the Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma City. So, Mr. Pumpkin, if you will come forward and allow us to recognize you. Is he here? Our next honoree is John Sunday. He was born in 1913 in Uchi, Oklahoma. John Sunday was enlisted in the United States Army in 1941 and served in World War II. He's a private first class in 8th Division of the 3rd Army, 120th Company F. He served as a scout for his unit throughout France and Germany. He fought in battles in Mulhausen, Sedan, Bonn, Luxembourg, and the Katrine Mountains. He received the Oak Leaf Cluster for injuries sustained in the Ardennes, and then in Belgium. Because of the battles they fought, his unit was nicknamed the Bloody Bucket Brigade. John returned to the United States in 1945. John married Ella Mae Starr in 1937, and after the war, the couple raised 11 children. After the war, John began a career as a printer for a newspaper, then changed careers to become the assistant supervisor at Eastern State Hospital in Dunedin. John enjoys his large family and his sharing of his knowledge of Cherokee heritage and his love for music. He is also a fiddle player. So if you will, join with me to welcome and acknowledge very humbly John Sunday. This is a plaque, of course, to honor you. And this is a ribbon. Jim.
Here's the ribbon, sir.
Okay, let's put this medal on.
Put this medal on. Here, I'll hold that for you, sir.
See, I don't have my food in there. This is our Cherokee Nation medal of patriotism. If you talk to folks, would you like to say a word about your service to the people?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not even no speaker, but I read a lot of bit.
He's a true soldier.
My stress did to go to me. She said I left my walking cane. Now, I'm ready to get her now. How old you want me to do?
You're leading the way, so.
We'll follow you, but you'll say a few words for us about your military service.
Will I get cornbread out of it?
Look at you, Sir John.
You know, I don't know anybody's faces. Those 3, 4 girls over there, they look like Indians.
Folk da, nei, jeg sier ikke.
Oh, skepsalik.
Hvorfor ikke var det?
Okay. Yeah. Cherokee. Yeah. I used to know a person here around this neighborhood, Charlie Smith, the old man. He lived back over in there somewhere. They'd have Cherokee Baptist 4-day meeting. That's how come he'd been over in here, you see. I met him then. And I went to school with one of his boys. And I think I went to school with his son, President. And he went to Cherokee. That's my school days. I was born in 1913. I had all the hair then. I used to part my hair till I got along about 1923. My hair got falling out. Then I entered the military. Along there about 41. And went to Germany and 18 years. I got one casualty, Purple Heart and Blind Star. Oak Cliff, Christine, Belgium. I got hurt, wounded. Well, I had somebody tell me, said, what is that they call wounded? I don't know, I had to look it up in the dictionary. We didn't know what it was then. Yeah, anyway, that's what I got. I'm not really a speech maker. I'm not a politician. I just don't. Let him have any way with it. Just so we don't jump the leg. Thank you.
Thank you.
Probably my father.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I know him. I used to teach him.
Shay Stanley enlisted in the United States Army National Guard in 2003 right after high school. Mr. Stanley was called to duty to serve at Camp Phoenix in Afghanistan as a member of Operating Enduring Freedom. He next volunteered for an additional tour to go embedded as an ETT with the Afghan National Army. In 2004, he returned to the United States and began working on a degree in criminal justice at NSU. He was again called to duty following Hurricane Katrina to assist with recovery and cleanup. He is currently a member with the 45th Infantry Brigade. After graduation, Shay hopes to join the U.S. Marshal Service. He is the son of Robin Sunday and Doug Stanley. If you'll come forward, please.
really know what to say. I just kind of knew out of high school I wanted to join the military, so I joined the National Guard so I could go to college. About half the things I've went and done for the military, I've volunteered to go and do. I enjoy going and doing it. Part of my life, I don't know. Have fun doing it. About it, my life.
Thank you very much. For program updates, the Cherokee Nation Emergency Management Team responded to a water crisis in Nachitown community of Sequoia County. Phyllis Yargy asked for the assistance and alerted us to the issue. And Todd Inlow and his crew responded quickly. They brought in hundreds of gallons of water to community members. The community was out of water for several days, and our staff did a great job in responding to this crisis. Cherokee Nation Self-Governance and Roads Department staff came together on a project to improve the payment systems and staffing for the BIA Office of Self-Governance. Vicki Hanby and Robert Endicott worked with other tribes to successfully develop proposals which will result in timely and accurate payment of self-governance tribes, not only of the Cherokee Nation, but of other tribes nationwide. Last month, the Cherokee Nation Health Services were notified that they passed the AAA HC 3-year accreditation. This is a way our organization voluntarily measures the quality of its services and its performance against national standards. The accreditation is a symbol of commitment to high-quality health care. I want to let everyone know that Cherokee Nation's I Believe guy, Brian Jackson, is now featured in the July 26th edition of Native Youth Magazine, an online publication. Brian is recognized for his efforts to encourage Native youth to pursue their dreams and to avoid the pitfalls of drugs and alcohol abuse. And in community announcements, many Cherokees participated in Native American Games this summer. One of our biggest announcements is that Team Oklahoma brought home the first place golf trophy for their division in the Native American Cup tournament. The tournament was played in Traverse, Michigan. The team members are here tonight. And let's ask them to come down and let us share the trophies that they won. And the Cherokee team members are Ben Phillips, Rodney Sapp, Patrick Six, Danny Mosier, John Mosier, Steve Goff, Gary Henson, and other team members include Nick Phillips and Derek Megg. So if y'all will come down and let us recognize them. About the tournament, what it meant?
Well, it was a very prestigious tournament where several tribes went to compete against one another in a game of golf. And so we got to play on three very, very nice courses up there. And I was glad that we were able to do that, to go up there and do that, participate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'd like to present this trophy to C&E, if you wouldn't mind.
C&E, the team was sponsored by C&E.
You did this right. Thank you very much.
Here's the media guy that knows much of stuff.
All right. Good. Well, thank you very much. It's our pleasure. I know that playing on our course probably made you better golfer. You know it does ours. So anyway, good job, and you represented us well.
Thank you.
Well, if you were playing against other tribes, perhaps we may need to adopt golf as a comparable sport to stickball to settle old debts and controversies. At last, I'd like to remind all of us that we have a great event occurring in just a few weeks, and that's the Cherokee National Holiday. The Cherokee National Holiday is our highest political and governmental event. It is a celebration of the signing of our Constitution in September of 1839, right after we passed the Act of Union, combining and reunifying all the factions of the Cherokee Nation. This year is also special because it celebrates the 100th anniversary of Section 28 of the 1906 Act. that act and that provision said that the Cherokee Nation and the other 5 tribes, 4 of the 5 tribes, shall continue in full force and effect. It meant that the legal continuum of the Cherokee Nation was never broken, and in our constitutional model, formed in 1831, that government was born in the style and title in the constitutional model. The Cherokee Nation still continues to this day. 100 years ago, our existence was in tenuous ways. But now, 100 years later, we can remember the lessons of that date a century ago. And any time that we have trials and tribulations challenging the existence of the Cherokee Nation, we can look back and see the tenacity of our ancestors to keep us going under the darkest of times and trying events. So this year, the theme of the Cherokee National Holiday is in full force and effect, signaling that day in history 100 years ago that the Cherokee Nation was acknowledged and continued existence by the federal government. I think we each have brochures or posters. It's going to be a greater and bigger event than ever. We'd love to invite you and your family and friends to come and participate and enjoy. And there's so many events we can't enumerate them all. It's a time for great community, renewing old acquaintances with families, and sharing our patriotism for the Cherokee Nation. So with that, thank you very much, Ms. Speaker.
Next item is action of unfinished business. See, there's none pending, so we move on down to committee reports. Ms. Calmont, we have a motion to amend the agenda.
As follows, and it's extensive, I apologize. There were several items that came up earlier in the meeting that we verbally discussed to do, will also be a time constraint. So to include 4 items under new business, the amending of the agenda to follow. Number 9, act allowing crimes against public justice. I believe the sponsor was Ms. O'Leary. Number 10, resolution approving and supporting legislation covering federal recognition of the Delaware Tribe of Indians, sponsored by England and Johnson. Number 11, act amending the preset bail code, sponsored by Speaker Fraley. Number 12, act amending the gaming code, sponsored by myself. And that's in the form of a motion to amend the agenda.
Moved and seconded.
Madam Chairman.
Mr. Baker.
This did not go through committee, but it's been on, I think, everybody's minds, and by law, we're to appoint 2 members to a citizens commission or compensation committee, and I'd like to amend the agenda to have Jennifer Barger Johnson, which came before this body
She was at large.
as a possible at-large council member, and I think she was quite impressive. And Bob Stopp, who at one time was the business manager of the tribe back in the 70s, then went to Arizona and ran a health clinic, and he's been around. And so I'd like to add those 2 names so that we can get our 2 appointments on, so the chief can put his on and they can get about their business. It's supposed to be done within 6 months before the election.
Ms. O'Leary. I mean, Ms. O'Leary. Ms. Calmont.
That's a pretty big step. You're okay. So that's a pretty big. Can you hear me now? Okay. That's a pretty large step for something. I'm familiar now with Jennifer Barger Johnson because we just saw her in front of us, we interviewed her and saw her resume. Unfortunately, I'm not necessarily familiar with Mr. Stopp. Is there not a reason we can wait a month?
We'll get within 6 months of the election, and it's supposed to be.
So that would be January 2007.
Until September the 8th.
Yeah, September the 8th, which is after the next or before the next council meeting. But anyway, it's just something we need to do, and I don't think the chief's going to appoint 2, we're going to appoint 2, and they're both highly qualified citizens.
Do you have their resumes available, or are they? I know Jennifer's not present. I don't see her in the audience, but is Mr. Stopp present?
He is not. He is not.
I don't have any problem with it necessarily, but then I do, because we're making a consideration for an appointment without any information.
with little Bob too.
Get them on the agenda. We have a special rules meeting to discuss redistricting on August 29th, and we'd have to set it at that time. Mr. Kimbry?
Madam Speaker, we might suggest that the item be placed on the agenda for debate purposes of, itself. Just because Mr. Baker mentioned 2 individuals doesn't mean that those 2 individuals be the ones chosen at today's meeting. But the item is of one of great importance. This compensation committee needs to have met and recommended a salary for all elected officials, and the principal chief and the council needs to confirm that figure by September 8th. So it is a matter of that time is of the essence.
And they do have some research to complete.
Yes.
Mr. England?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm like Council Lady Cowan. I'd just like to have a little heads up on some of these names. This Jennifer Johnson, she came before us at the at-large, so we're real familiar with her. But to just throw this other name and we have no input to vote on, I have no idea who this person is. I think it's pretty sure at this time. Vote for somebody I have no idea, never seen his resume or anything.
Chief Smith, if you have a comment?
Under blind support, I can call special council meetings to follow your rules committee to complete that action to help the council.
The August 29th. Are we having a special meeting?
Whatever
August
time you
29th?
need. Glad
The
to.
more time they have, the better. Okay, thank you.
Madam Speaker, at this time, I can't accept that friendly amendment to the motion to be on the agenda.
All right. We're going to need to vote on the amendments. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? Any opposed? Okay. We will amend the agenda to include items 9, 10, 11, and 12. Committee reports. Excuse me just a moment. We have approved to become the Jackson table and resource committee. Or to this. Resource committee, is that what you said?
All of them. They haven't been confirmed by the full council.
Oh. Madam Chairman,
Yes.
at this time, I'd like to, although we've accepted Jack Baker and Taylor King to, I think, all 8 committees, it has never been officially done in full council, and I would move that we do that at this time.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, welcome, Mr. Baker and Mr. King. Okay, now moving on down to committee reports. The Housing Authority, Mr. Sutherland. Good evening, David.
Good evening. Brief report this evening. Our August board meeting will be tomorrow evening in the Allen Hogner Conference Room over at the Hensley Drive location. Have a pretty light agenda for the meeting. Last week we were fortunate enough to have Tom Wright, HUD's Director of Loan Guarantees, and Dina O'Hare, who is a Senior Advisor to Deputy Assistant Secretary Roger Boyd. They were over at the Housing Authority to present some information on Section 184 loans. We're going to use the 184 loans as our primary lending tool in our assumable mortgage program. We're real close to having all the kinks worked out of that and getting that rolled out and begin that program. We've assisted over 100 families with mortgage assistance since October 1st, and those are families that can get their own mortgage. The assumable mortgage program targets families that can't get their own mortgage and need a little help getting there. We're real excited about the program. It has features that are very beneficial to the family and also to the Housing Authority and the nation in administering the program. The estimated funding for the 2007 Indian Housing Block Grant is approximately $29.7 million. That's in the neighborhood of last year's amount. It's actually a little higher than the first estimate from last year, but again, it's only an estimate, so it could go up or down. Also, the reauthorization of the HOSDA is due in 2007. The National American Indian Housing Council is putting forth recommendations for some changes in the HOSDA, along with the reauthorization. Next week, I'll be attending a meeting they're having on the recommendations. Sometimes you have to go there and argue for good and bad, and I'm going there mainly to argue for Section 8 funding. One of the first items that they always bring up is Section 8, and we get a substantial amount of funding each year because we used to have a large Section 8 program. We don't have Section 8 anymore, but we get funded for that for those units. So there's a lot of tribes like to take that money and split it up among themselves. So we're going to do a little arguing over that. That's my report for the evening. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer.
Any questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Sedler.
Thank you.
Next is Cherokee Nation Enterprises, David Stewart. Good evening, Mr. Stewart.
Good evening, Madam Chair and council members. C&E had a good month for June. Year to date, we're approximately 15% ahead of where we were at the same time last year. In addition to the normal dividend that we pay, our retail sales tax amounted to about $79,000 that we paid to the tribe. Our expansion projects are going well. We had the Salisaw grand opening, and that was a huge success. And we appreciate all of the council members that came to that. Tahlequah is scheduled to be open by the holiday, so within the next couple of weeks you'll see a lot of action over there opening. So we're excited about that. We will have the official grand opening after the holiday, so you will get notification of that. C&E has purchased several pieces of property with the assistance of C&B. Mayberry's truck stop across 193rd from Catoosa has been closed, and also the lot across from West Siloam Springs has been purchased. And if you'll notice, that property needs to be cleaned up, so we bought it and it will be clean. Currently, C&E employs 2,973 people up due to the Salisaw and Tahlequah casino openings. Our Cherokee employment is at 60%, with total native employment at 73%. Management level Cherokee employment is at 63%. We continue to work on those percentages and strive to improve that. That's my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Mr. Thornton?
David, would you mind if this next week be able to get the price that was paid on that, for that mini mart service station and the restaurant there at Salisaw?
Daniels?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can get that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments? Ms. Shotpouch?
How long was you said you was going to clean it up? Is that the only plan?
Well, actually, we don't have any future plans for that. We know that with the expansion of West Siloam, that property needs to have a little better curb appeal to it. So our first objective is to clean it up, and then we'll have future plans. Right.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Next is Cherokee Nation Industries, Brian Collins. Good evening, Brian.
Good evening, Madam Speaker and Council. We ended our year in June, and we ended the year with $99.7 million in sales. And year to date through July, $8.2 million, which is 30% greater than the same time frame last year. Profitability for July is conservatively being estimated at $125,000 to $150,000. Employment, the question was asked last time about employment within the Tahlequah and Stillwell area. And last year, July of 2005, we had 173 employees 123 Native American at 71%. July of 06, 237, 214 Native at 90% Native American. Our next board meeting is August 29th at 3 p.m. in Catoosa at the CNB conference area. Is there any questions?
Brian, I understand you have a potential contract with Sikorsky. How's that coming along?
It's coming on real well. Sikorsky's in this week and visiting and going over our quality requirements and going over our standards, and we have high hopes that we have an opportunity with Sikorsky. So, and we have other opportunities as well, but that one will be very, very good for us.
Is that on the helicopters?
On the helicopters, yes.
Great. Congratulations. I hope you win it.
Well, we're going to try hard.
Any questions, comments? Thank you very much. Moving on down to old business, none pending, so we'll move to new business. Item 1. Oh. Any Cherokee Nation business? Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Callie. You thought you were going to get out of it, didn't you? Sorry, Callie. I was in a hurry.
I'll be brief. We had our CNB board meeting last Friday. They reviewed several opportunities for diversification. We're going to move forward with some additional due diligence on a couple of those, take them to the next level of study. We also presented the 3-year capital investment and cash flow forecast to the CNB board. The board will be scheduling a special meeting to go through to review and approve these 3-year capital plans. I'll notify you of the meeting date as soon as that's final. Give you a brief update on shared services. As David mentioned earlier, CNB Business Development and Legal Group has helped close on several real estate purchases. Excuse me. Also, we had a good meeting with CNI personnel a couple of weeks ago to formulate our joint 8A marketing and administrative strategy. Legal Services has been working with C&D on a potential 8A project, which would be quite lucrative. Internal Audit has several projects. They're looking at the 07 audit plan as well as wrapping up projects at CNI and CNE. Communications worked with CNE on the grand opening for Salisaw, and we were quite pleased with the turnout of the media. I believe it was 3 news stations and several local newspapers, which adds up to free publicity for CNE. We have 29 employees at CNB. 79% are Native American, 72% are Cherokee. We do have a new employee at CNB in our communications group, and Haley Buzzard is the newest CNB employee. If you'd like to stand up, Haley. We want to welcome her to our group. She recently came to us through the Leadership Development Academy, and we're glad to have her on board. That's my report. If anyone has any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Any questions? Mr. Hoskins?
Kelly, do you have any updated information on Cherokee Connects?
I am meeting with Mr. Hemphill and Mr. Gates tomorrow. I should have some more current information tomorrow.
Before our meeting this week? Okay.
For our meeting.
Are there any other groups signed on besides the City of Bonita yet?
That's the only one I know that has actually gotten the funding. But I can get you an update after our meeting tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Ketcher.
Thank you.
Moving on down to old business, none pending, so we'll move to new business. And item 1 is a resolution covering the third amendment to the 2006 Indian Housing Plan. Ms. Shopouch.
I put that in form of motion.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, item 2 is legislative act amending the 2006 comprehensive budget. Ms. O'Leary.
Yes. Madam Speaker, that's money levy contains 10 budget increases in spending authority, which increases by approximately $2.4 million for a total budget authority of approximately $382 million. I put that in form of motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? It is an act.
Yes. Roll call.
Bill England,
Yes.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Audra Connor,
Yes.
Joe Crittenden,
Yes.
Meredith Fraley,
Yes.
John Garvin,
Yes.
Charles Hoskins,
Yes.
William Johnson,
Yes.
Taylor King,
Yes.
Johnny Keener,
Yes.
Jacob Bob Martin,
Yes.
Lindy O'Leary,
Yes.
Melvina Shophouse,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
Carol Watts,
Yes.
Phyllis Yargy,
Yes.
It's unanimous. Motion passed. Item 3 is a resolution covering a letter of commitment to the Center of Medicare and Medicaid for the Comprehensive Care Agency. Ms. O'Leary.
Yes, what this is a Cherokee Nation Comprehensive Care Agency. The program is all-inclusive care for the elderly called PACE. It's a nonprofit private agency. And the CNCCA and PACE has filed an application with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to be recognized as a PACE organization. And what this resolution asks for is the coverage of 1 month's total capitalization revenue to cover expenses the month before insolvency. And the second notation is 1 month's average payment to all contractors based on the prior quarter's average payment to cover expenses the month after the date it declares insolvency or ceases operations. Put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item 4 is a resolution asking for authorization to sell the painting Orange Benevolence. Mr. Crittenden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yes, the title of this painting is Orange Benevolence. It was purchased in 1995 for $250 by our clinic in Jay. It's a Navajo depiction. The artist wants to buy it back and make prints to sell. He wants to pay the same price that we initially gave him. The clinic and our health service group have no objections to this sale. The proceeds of the sale will be used to purchase Cherokee artwork for the clinic. I put that in the form of motion.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
this artist is Navajo, but also Cherokee, and he's sitting in the back. If he'd stand up and be recognized, he's a great artist, and he was part of the delegation that went to the Chattanooga and did that fabulous artwork. So anyway, I call for the question.
Madam Chair, I realize my fellow council members called, but I do have a question, please. Mr. Allen, would you be willing to give us a print to put back into the clinic?
I guess I may get printed on you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Question has been called. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6 is an act amending the Cherokee Nation Boat and Motor Licensing Code. Before we discuss it, I have been asked to amend Section 7 of this code from the effective date being, yes. Well, I'm really messed up tonight, aren't I? Yeah, we are. Okay, item 5 is the resolution authorizing the sale or trade of a Cherokee Nation asset, and it's a health services mobile unit. Mr. Crittenden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This mobile unit was removed from service in 2005. The health service group initially tried to get some communities involved, interested in possibly using it in the communities, and they put out some proposals and received no responses. And I think they've done this twice. So They've received several inquiries to possibly buy this unit. This resolution asks the resolution concerning the donation of the mobile unit be rescinded, and that the principal chief be authorized to sell the mobile unit with the proceeds used to purchase vehicles or to trade the mobile unit for such vehicles. The vehicles that we would receive are to be used by the Health Service Group Maintenance Section, and I'd put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Moved in second, and any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6. This is an act amending the boat and motor licensing code. And what it's changing is the registration fees whereby they can be assessed for a 3-year period, and that is equal to 90% of the total individual year's fees. And I have been asked to amend Section 7 of that legislation to make the effective date, rather than 30 days, 180 days, to allow time to implement the computer technology to accommodate this 3-year assessment. And I would entertain a motion to amend.
Move the amendment, or move for the amendment.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. I would move to approve the legislation amending this licensing code.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Is it bylaws? Did we do that for bylaws?
Yep, acclamation. Number 7 is an act amending the Cherokee Nation Motor Vehicle Licensing Code, and it adds a provision to include a possessory or laborer's lien on abandoned vehicles and on vehicles as a result of work and labor or storage of a vehicle. And I would move for approval.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. By acclamation, it's an aye. Okay, item 8 is a resolution seeking authority for the Sequoia High School to submit a grant application to the BIA and for Cherokee Nation to accept ownership of the new Student Activity Center. Mr. Hoskin?
Yes, it also includes a grant application for the planning, design, and construction funds for facility improvements and repair, and for Cherokee Nation to accept the ownership. And this has been a long time coming. It's been a long time becoming reality, and I certainly put that in the form of a motion.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item 9 is an act allowing crimes against public justice. Ms. O'Leary.
Yes, we discussed this in committee earlier, and I put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Acclamation. Okay, item 10 is a resolution for separate recognition of the Delaware Tribe of Indians. Moved. Do I have a second?
I second.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to make a comment. I'm glad to see this resolution come before us. Being from that part of the Cherokee Nation, I reminded that I grew up with a lot of Delawares, went to school with them, played football with them, roped calves with them, and one of my classmates was had their funeral last Saturday, and he graduated in 1946, and his mother, Anna Anderson, was a Delaware girl that Phillips Petroleum hit the first oil well on her allotment. And that happened way back in Jerry. And I'd just like to acknowledge Chief Douglas sitting up here that Chief Smith acknowledged a while ago. But with that, I second the motion of Councilman Engel.
Before we have further discussion, Chief Douglas, where are you? Would you like to come forward and say a few words?
I don't have too much to say. My council already passed our resolution, and I would just like the Cherokees and Delawares to get along for a while. Let's get the lawyers out of the picture.
Any further discussion? All in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations to all of you that negotiated this, and Chief Douglas. I think it's benefited a lot of people. Okay, item 11 is an act amending the preset bail code. This creates more stringent laws and extends the area of crimes regarding bail that can be set by the court covering the crimes as listed in the provisions of substantive provisions of the act, and I would move for approval.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And by acclamation. I'm sorry? Item 12 is an act amending the gaming code. Ms. Calm-Watts?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. By acclamation. Okay, do we have any announcements? Yeah, Ms. Shoptouch?
I want to invite everybody to the annual Shop Pouch Hog Fry, way down by J, Oklahoma. Everybody's invited, and we start serving at 12:30, and a lot of good music in the afternoon, so everybody's invited. If you want to know more, you can call me. Thank you.
What's the date, Melvina?
Oh, I've got the date. August 27th.
August 20th. August 27th, it starts what time? 12:30. And it is good food. Mr. Garvin?
Well, that sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'd like to introduce two constituents from Forum, Dixie Major and Bonnie Harris. Also, I want to say congratulations to all the Cherokee citizens that worked in the petition drive. I want to congratulate all the workers, and I want to congratulate 3,029 people who signed on the dotted line. And I also want to introduce Jody Fishenhoek, because she was one of the leaders, and I guess Mr. Kitcher's here.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Connor.
Thank you. I just wanted to remind everyone with all of the holiday activities coming up that the Miss Cherokee pageant is coming up on August the 26th. Of course, that's something I hold dear to my heart. 7 o'clock at the NSU Ballroom, and then our Junior Miss Leadership Competition will be held at the community meeting room over here. What is it? Oh, it's going to be at Sequoia. Okay. We'll be at Sequoia on the 27th at 7 o'clock. If you can, come out and support our young ladies who are trying to achieve success. Not a pageant, it's a scholarship competition. Thank you.
Ms. Calm-Watts?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to recognize from Rogers County one of our county commissioners, Mike Helm. And I'm not, Stan, please, thank you. And I'm not sure, I think you've got, is the gentleman friend from Rogers County as well? Or?
No, he's one of my friends from Tulsa. He's the Cherokee Indian. He works at the gaming center there in Tulsa.
Okay. Good. Well, welcome. Also, I'd like to wish happy birthday to Jessica Williams on the cameras. She's always helping us out, volunteering her time. Happy birthday, Jessica.
Happy birthday. Mr. England, and then Chief Smith.
I'd just like to thank all the Scott Duke, the Sperry, the Collinsville people, our tribal youth council are all here from our areas. I thank them for making that long trip down here and Tulsa. Betty, I won't forget you guys either. We have a lot of people that drove a long ways tonight to be down here. We want to thank them.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make an announcement. We had an audition here recently for an abstinence commercial for teenagers, targeting teenagers. And the two that was selected for the New York City trip to go to New York round trip, hotel, food, lodging expenses, is Dakota Van and his dad, Don Wilbert Van. They're the ones being selected. If anybody was curious, we had about maybe 120 kids show up for that audition.
Thank you. Chief Smith?
During the Cherokee National Holiday on that Saturday from 2 to 5, the new Sequoia Multi-Purpose Center, the gym that we've always been looking forward to opening, will be available for an open house from 2 to 5. So you're welcome to come and see that.
Thank you.
Move we adjourn.
Mr. Hoskins? Second. Wait just a second.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The two gentlemen we recognize tonight, or at least two of them, are from the Sunday family from Veneta. And I just want to acknowledge the family of being a very strong Cherokee family in the Veneta area for a number of years. I grew up with many of their older relatives. But if you ever wanted to listen to some good music, you simply had to go to the Sunday household. And it was a great thing. And so with that being said, I'd like to recognize the entire Sunday family that's here today.
We have a motion to adjourn and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Audio.